be here or not.
I'll send her a message.
I texted her a couple minutes ago, but she said she was all the way in Tonga earlier, so.
Whether or not she's back in time.
Yeah.
Yes, I did, many times. Just bring it in, right? It lets me go on for a little bit. I run the AT Spider. And after I run that, it tells me the PC's on.
Weird.
Right after I run it.
It's getting close. Did you tell Alan?
Yeah.
Did you hear?
Yeah. At the very least, I can get the data.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I can't get the OS stable, let's get the data.
Okay.
We'll text
Cool,
Alan.
we're here. No computer. Got 3 computers.
Oh.
Oh, question.
Who do we call that? Jerry Ingram?
Mom, can I go on the other 2 computers and use that? Transfer over to the other computers?
No, it won't, they won't network. It'll be all right.
We have the,
We got a wireless router, but
yeah, it won't.
it's not going back to that to that.
Will it hit the other 2?
You can, yeah, it should be a way to, well,
Once I disconnect it tonight, it won't go.
Oh.
So
Okay.
it won't be in the system.
there's ways to do it.
All right,
Yeah.
it's 7 o'clock, so go ahead and call this meeting to order. Roll call and record members present.
Ms. John?
Here.
Ms. John?
Here.
Okay, will everyone please join us in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Item 1 will be the reading and disposition of the previous meeting minutes. We approved the consent agenda. We decided to remove Juanetta from our bank account. Eric was approved to purchase some things for the park. Sequoia backup of $10 a month was approved. The board gave the fire department permission to get the old stickers off the new fire truck, and get it set up with the correct frame and fire logo. We talked to Brown Engineering, or we paid Brown Engineering the amount of $2,000 of previously owed bill for the splash pad design. We talked about water wells and looking into a REAP grant. There was no action taken on that. There was discussion on creating a 5-person trust. Was approved to make the trust. Canopla, we tabled that. There was discussion about Beaumont, I believe. And then we approved resolution number 09-08-20-1. Went into executive session. at 8:03, reconvened at 8:43. No action was taken in the executive session. We had progress reports from the utility department, the fire department, emergency management. And then we had public comment, new business. Looks like I made the motion to adjourn. All right. We approve those minutes.
I approve these minutes.
Call for a vote?
Mr. Lund,
Yes.
Ms. Johns,
Yes.
she's not here. Sorry.
Is
It becomes a habit.
Yep. All right, so those are approved. Item 2 is discussion, consideration, and action on regarding the consent agenda. Okay. Oh, we get at Walmart here. Just some office supplies for Walmart. The phones are all working good now?
Yes.
That's good.
Yes, Ken Oakwood is here and everything's changed, everything works the way it was.
We got brand new shiny phone.
All new phones, all new system, it's all internet-based. We can now communicate between the offices. That's all up and going.
And it's not costing us any more than it did to have the old system. Just to
Well,
get it
just,
upgraded.
just the upgrade that we talked about, and that actually may go down a little bit, he didn't know. He's gonna check on that because we're not advertising the other number. If we don't advertise the other number, if we just put it out ourselves, then it may drop the bill a little bit. But he didn't know for that for sure, he's gonna let me know. So he's gonna figure out the answers on that and let me know back on it. But the phones are up and going as of Friday, so.
The big bill at the lumberyard. $2.38.
I know, the gasket was expensive. Just had to have it.
Well, what do you think, Darlene?
When I go over paying the bills for this rest of the year.
I'll second that. Call for a vote?
Mr. Lund?
Yes.
Ms. Johns,
Yes.
Okay. Item 3 is bill for Megan Holden,
This is for the third quarter, so this is 3 months worth.
3 months.
Oh, we don't think we need to pay it.
You want to see her storm out of here.
Lasagna.
Well, yeah, lasagna ought to bring that down a little bit.
No, this is where I approve.
I'll
And
second
there's an
that.
itemized invoice too.
yeah,
Yeah.
on the check.
All,
All my phone calls are free, right?
They were, yes.
they were.
If it's under, that's right, under
Ten.
10. Oh, under 10, sorry.
I don't know, maybe I said
I think it says
15.
15.
They were all free.
I've been driving her nuts, so.
Yeah, they were all free. I didn't charge for any of them.
motion that we pay Megan.
I second.
I appreciate it.
Call for a vote?
Mr. Lund,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Okay. Item 4 is IT reimbursement. Scott is asking for reimbursement of $25.99 for purchasing flash drives for the computer backups.
Reboot.
Sounds pretty good. And that was,
That was the one I talked to you at earlier. I thought it was 30, but yeah, actually, I guess it was 26 bucks, so.
You were close.
It's a,
and these are just little flash drives, and they back up all of our data on the 2 computers
on
in
those
there.
2 that exceeded the 64 gig limit, yeah. I didn't expect the other ones to get that big, but they ended up exceeding it, so I had to, yeah. But
That's a,
it won't ever, it's not gonna go over 128, so.
I can make it happen.
all right, well, I think that's a pretty easy deal. I move that we reimburse Scott for purchasing those flash drives for us.
I second.
Call for a vote?
Mr. Lund,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Item 5 is discussion, consideration, and action, lights in the office and shop.
Okay, so what we're talking about is converting these as they go to LEDs. I've got 2 in the office already that have gone. It's about $48 to convert that fixture to LEDs with bulbs and everything. It's almost $60 now for the,
Halogen?
no,
Fluorescent.
the thing that drives the press, the ballast for the, so it's cheaper now to convert to LED than it is to put a ballast back in it. I got 2 of them in the office that way.
Okay.
We might want to look at also, and I don't have the prices on them yet, the lights in the shop that we run can be converted to LED as well. And I'm still working on pricing for that so that we know. Had an electrician throw a price of $2,000 to do them all. That's him coming in and doing it. I don't think I need that, but wanted to get it on the table so we knew what it was and what we're looking at. And I'll get better pricing on the ones in the shop. When we turn those lights on, it's like turning on 10 street lights at once in there. And it cranks the meter up. I try not to use them unless we have no choice, but winter coming on, we're gonna be using them somewhat. But the 2 that are in the other office are already out.
Yeah, they're off.
They're done. The ballast went out of them. I tried changing bulbs, but the ballast went out, and there's no recouping from that unless I change them over or buy the new ballast, so.
Okay. Yeah, that's conserving, we're being conservative if we go with the LEDs.
Yeah,
I
I think
suggest we do
that,
that.
Phillies. Did all of them at once?
No, I'll just do the 2 that are down for now.
Oh.
And as we go forward, replace a couple more and a couple more, just get them all converted to LED eventually, just not all at once.
I would go for that.
Yeah. So I would move that we convert to LED lights as the ballasts go out in the fluorescents.
Oh. No, I move that we do that, the 2 lights in the office.
I'll second that. Call for a vote.
Mr. Lund,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Okay, 6 is cold patch, for cold patch.
You know the powder coal patch, I have a ditch that runs across Fifth Street now for water pipe replacement, that goes clean across the road. And, you know, what I'm gonna do that is to patch the road, so, if I open Fifth Street right now, it's closed between Low and Eaton. If I reopen that, because the trucks run all the way across there to go to the co-op, we'll have not only that pipe that I just put in for back up, but everything around it too. So before I reopen that, I need to go back in and level that, pack it with the white cement stuff that we've been using, and then get coal patch on top of it, so it's eroding. And as of right now, it is not. You missed that one. That'll come up later when we talk about the water.
Well, I'm trying to think of cold. It's right in front of
Right
our
in front of her
house.
house.
Oh, okay.
The alley between
Is-
Clyde and Eaton is where the main ran, And there was a section of main in there that it had been replaced in the alley with PVC, but they left about 18 foot of it from the main to the PVC that was still the iron pipe. We patched it twice in the last three months. Yeah. And so we had patches on that pipe, and in between those two patches, it blew another hole out the bottom of it. And so rather than put another $60 patch on a piece of pipe that wasn't going to live, I put a $20 piece of PVC from the main all the way to the other PVC. In doing so, though, I had to dig the whole piece of road up. So the pavement's been removed for a section about that wide all the way across Fifth Street. If I just leave it like that and let truck traffic back through on it, it's going to become a 2-foot deep pothole immediately. I'm letting it dry out now. When it gets dry enough to where I can work with it, I'll go back in with the skid loader and put in the cement packing that we've been using, and then cold patch above it. But I need more cold patch to do it. Another pallet of it will do.
And it's pretty, that's used road quite a bit.
Yes, it's used every day by trucks. That's part of the problem.
It's kind of nice, good enough to go down it.
Yeah, as of last, was it?
Last week.
Last Saturday, a week ago last Saturday, that road's been shut off.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't let travel back over it. After we filled it back in, after we replaced the pipe, it's so wet that when I walked across it in my boots, I sunk to my knees. And literally had to pull my boots back up. That soft, it won't take road traffic. So as that dries out now, what I'll do is take the top 3 or 4 inches of it off and put the concrete back over it. That powdered concrete we bought off Orderson. I'll use it as a packing material under the asphalt, and then I'll put asphalt on top of it. But it's got to dry up first. As it is right now, it would just destroy the rest of the road and sink vehicles. So I've got the repair done. It's got to dry out. Then I'll repair the road. But that cold patch is for that repair.
Well, that's a road that's gonna have to be repaired.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not any choice.
Road to the co-op, from 13th Street.
Yeah, or 44th Street. Go on. I would suggest that we put it on credit card so that it's not. That's what
Yeah, you don't know how much it's gonna cost.
It's somewhere right around $700 for the pallet. We've been doing it anyway. This is how we've been buying our cold patches by the pallet. So it's just reordering. I've got about 10 bags left from the last one, and then another pallet, and then whatever I've got left over. We'll go to other projects. But I'm going to use the better part of the pallet to fix this road. It's going to take quite a bit. So pallet is.
He had to tear up the whole road.
Yeah, I didn't have any choice. If I was gonna fix that without putting another $300 worth of patches and crap on the pipe and then come back next month, I had to tear it up to replace that pipe. So I did. That pipe is now new, all the way from the 6-inch main, all the way down the alley. It's all new PVC.
And you shouldn't have to tear up the road.
I shouldn't have to touch it again.
Yeah.
No, it's done.
So that's a good deal.
What's wrong with it? And we can put it on the credit card.
Okay.
Well,
You wanna make a motion for that?
I move that we have Eric repair it and put it on credit card.
Yeah, pallet cold patch. I'll second that. Call for a vote.
Mr. Lund?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Okay, item 7 is plumbing supplies.
We have run just about out of everything we had for repair work. I have some stuff left, but it's very little. I need to spend between $2,000 and $3,000 to restock the supplies that we normally would have on the shelf for doing water main repairs, because we're out of pipe, we're out of connectors, well, I bought a couple of patches this past month, but if I can possibly get around using them, as we saw right there on Fifth Street, we put that in, and 3 feet away, it'll blow another hole.
Were you able to salvage any of those patches off that?
I thought I was going to. When I tried to get that one off, it just twisted the clamp off of it, so,
I see.
no, I did not.
All right.
I tried to get the connector that was to the PVC back off of it, but it was a galvanized connector and it's rusted so badly. If I ever do get it apart, it'll be because it twisted apart, not because it's coming back.
sounds like an awful lot.
A lot.
Well, and it's not all at once. It'll be
No, but
hopefully for the year, but
you got to pay for it at once.
no, I don't have to order it all at once. I'm telling you to restock what we need. Totally, we're gonna spend a couple $1,000s, but I don't need it all tomorrow. It's gonna be, and I can take my time and order it. I need more of the resetters for the meters. We used up the whole case of meters that we had. One of them was bad, and we had another one that was in the ground already before I got here that quit. So that particular box of meters has now been used up. We've been having meters blow the tops off of them because water pressure came up. I changed one of those last week, another meter where the water just literally blew past the seal internally, and the meter was leaking. And it wasn't turning the meter on the customer, but the city was leaking water out. One of them was over here at Bob Goebel's. The top of the meter came apart, and when Trudy and I showed up to read it, the water was literally running out of the meter house. And so we shut it off, and when we went in, we put meterizer and the meter in. That meter that we put in that time never worked. We came back, it was about halfway through, and we came back to read it again, and it had never moved. So we estimated his bill for the month, and we replaced that meter with one that is now working. Another one of those that was in, that we thought was a good one, hit 7,000 gallons and stopped turning. I need to buy meters. A box of meters is $600 for 10 of them. I gotta have meters, I don't have any. And I've got meters in the ground that need to be replaced. I need the meterizers, and like I said, we're not gonna spend it all at once, but it's stuff that we've gotta have, or we're not gonna get stuff fixed.
What did you say the meterizers were like?
Meterizers
More
are
than
135 a piece
100.
if I get them from Contractor Supply. If I go through the other place, they're 170 something a piece, which, you know, it pays us for me to shop around and get the best price on everything. Same thing with pipes, same thing with connectors, the stuff that we need. I shop for the best prices.
My suggestion would be we get the box of meters and then we get one, maybe two of the risers. Probably one right now. I mean, how many do you absolutely need right now?
I absolutely have to have 3 of them right away.
Okay.
I got that many in the ground that have got to be changed. And then from there on, I can piece part them as I need them, but if I don't get these meters up out of the mud, they become unreadable as soon as the ground temperature starts to cool off. Because moisture accumulates inside the meter and you can't see it.
Yeah, they get
Then I have to heat them every
volume
time.
on the inside.
Yeah.
The flame doing
The other thing we're about out of is I have one meter house itself, the can it sits in, I have one left. The most efficient means I've seen of doing that is buying a section of pipe, cutting it to the depth we need it, and adding a cover. If we buy them pre-cut, they're anywhere from 60 to 80 bucks per each. If I buy them in a section of pipe and then the covers, I can get them down to 45 or 50, depending on how much of a meter house I gotta do. But to do that, I need to buy a 12-foot section of pipe and then 3 or 4 of the covers, which are, I think you said $43 a piece. So,
Okay.
this is stuff that up until now, I've been using what we had on the shelf,
Right.
but we're down to just about nothing at this point. The repairs are going, we're getting stuff done, but at this point, if I don't start restocking what we've been using, it's gonna stop, just because we don't have anything to work with.
We definitely need the box of meters. Get the 3 risers if you need to have the 3 risers to complete, tasks at hand. And how many of the buckets do you need? Like right away?
Right away, I could get by with the one I got if I can keep the ones I'm pulling out in one piece. The problem is,
That's tough.
the meter houses we have in the ground have been there since the 30s. They're made out of concrete. And if you have to dig it up to get beneath it, to get to the pipe, getting it out of the ground without it shattering is pretty hard to do.
Yeah, that's tough to do.
The ones that we're
It's all
replacing it
sand,
with are plastic, and they're pretty solid, they're gonna be there for the next 50, 60 years, and you're not gonna have to mess with them.
Yeah.
But it's a question of having it on hand when you do it, because you can't leave that meter exposed.
Well, I mean, it would be cheapest to buy a big stick of pipe, but that's a cost in itself. That's good size, like,
It's 18-inch pipe, it's 12 foot long, it's $200. From that 12 foot, I should be able to get 5 or 6 meter houses, depending on how tall I need it. Because they're gonna be 24 to 30 inches, depending on how deep in the ground the meters are.
when you say, like 45, 50 a piece on the.
Yeah,
on the tops.
if we replace the meter riser, and the meter house all at the same time, well, we're there, not counting labor, we're spending about $300 a meter.
Well, the lid, how much is the lid?
The lids are $43, I think you said. And if I can, I'll reuse those, but at this point, they're old enough, people driven across them.
What do you think, Darlene? It'd be like almost a couple thousand.
I think we need to go as cheap as we can right now.
And I don't have a problem with that, but like I said, we're running so low on supplies, if I don't replace some of them, that's gonna happen, and we're gonna have water leaks we can't do nothing with.
You need to, okay. Okay, why don't we give them a budget of like a couple $1,000 that he can work on, like, over the next couple months, next few months to start replacing stuff.
Yeah.
But right away, get your essentials you need,
Okay.
okay?
Good.
And then slowly start
Building stuff
building
back
stuff
up.
up after that.
I won't order everything at once, but, and I'll let you know as I'm going, hey, I got this to get, I'll do that. I'm out of PVC 2-inch pipe, out of it, use the last stick up there, so I need 5 or 6 sticks of that on the shelf. They're $15 a piece, they're not a lot of money, but if I don't have it and I need a piece of pipe, it's a trip to Ponca to get it, so.
Mayor, that's what you're gonna do, if you can set an amount and a deadline.
Okay, like, I'll give you like a 3-month time frame and
Okay.
$2,000, does that seem
That way it's clear in minutes.
agreeable, Charlie?
Yeah.
And if I need something out of that range, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, definitely.
First up.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
I move that we go for the budget with the deadline.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll second that. Call for a vote?
Mr. Lund?
Yes.
Ms. John?
Yes.
Item 8 is discussion, consideration, action on a water grant. This is going to be for,
This is to replace the water main on Bremen Road
this is on Bremen Hinder.
from Broadway out to Eubanks' house. That line I was in your backyard digging up,
Mm-hmm.
that's another one of those.
Another
There-
one of those?
There are 4 patches on that line in the 6 foot of it we had exposed. And it's an old steel line, we patched it on the corner not long back. That line needs replaced. And to do it, the city's not gonna be able to pay for it, so this is a grant, a NOTA grant. The engineer drew up the paperwork, which you've got in front of you, the list of materials and what it's gonna cost, and NOTA's working on it with us. If I can get all this stuff together and get it approved by the city along with the next thing on our list, then we'll get this submitted to NOTA next week, and we get it, it's completely paid for by NOTA. There's an 8-inch line right there on the corner of Broadway that's our feed line from the tower. We're gonna tie to that with a 6-inch and take the 6-inch all the way to Clyde, bore under the road at Clyde, with a 4-inch and then go up that ditch all the way to Eubanks with the 4-inch.
If I may ask a question on this.
Yes.
Do you already have a commitment from NODA that they will supply 100% of the funds?
No, but we're working on it for that.
So that's just the hope.
That's our hope.
So that's just an estimate.
This estimate is within the budget of what NODA said we could ask for quite easily. And I've got the paperwork back from Jennifer saying we should probably score well enough to get it, so here's hoping. It needs to be done very badly. That piece of water line that comes from the corner of Broadway over is just beyond help.
Was it only talked about before?
Yeah, our original discussion about this grant was to put it through to where Don's putting in his new trailer camp. But when Don called in his dig safe out there to run the dozer, they found out there's a 4-inch water line that we didn't know about that's owned by Rural Water District. So his water's off the list now. That line still needs replaced, and if we're gonna do it, we might as well take it all the way out to our existing customers and be done with it. And at the same time, that will add shut-off valves to the 2 mains that run down the alleys between Clyde and Kimmel and Broadway, so that we can isolate those lines from the rest of town when we have leaks. So I don't have to shut the whole town off.
More shut-off valves is, that's a wonderful thing.
It'll also put, anywhere we've got a meter off of that line, we'll put new meter boxes, new meters. That's all part of the grant. Hook them up to the new line, get that into town all taken care of.
I'll see if he can wrap in a new box of meters in that grant too.
That'd be nice. I'll throw it at her and see what she says.
Well, I mean, I move that we pursue this grant.
The cost for the engineer, everything is wrapped up in the grant.
Is your motion to pursue it if it's 100% funding only though? Because what if it comes back and it's not 100% funding?
Right, yeah. I move to pursue this grant, as long as it has the 100% funding. And if it does not have the 100% funding, then we need to reassess.
Okay.
Obviously, there's a timeline, we might have to have a special meeting.
Right.
I think we need to table it till we find out what we know.
Darlene, we don't have time. If I don't have this in by the 30th of October, we're not gonna see it happen. But they didn't give us a whole lot of time this year. I found out about it right after the meeting in September, and I got right on it then with the engineers. I have been talking to James about it, but obviously without a special meeting, we couldn't bring it forward to you. If I don't have this on their desk by the 30th of October, we're not gonna see it.
All I'm saying is, whenever you make your motion, it needs to be very clear what you're approving, because if it comes back and it's not 100% funding, and they come back and say, yeah, we'll do another grant, but only fund 80%, then you're stuck funding the other 20%.
Right.
And so, you guys have to be very clear of what you're approving. If you're only approving it if it's 100% funding, okay, but when it comes back and it's not 100% funding, then is it rejected or?
James said.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve it under the conditions that it is 100% funded. And if it is not 100% funded, then we will reassess the situation.
I second.
Call for a vote? Yes.
Yes.
Item 9 is discussion, consideration, and action on Raymond Trust. All right.
There's supposed to be more people here,
There's
sorry.
supposed to be more people here.
Yeah, that's the way that always goes.
We might have to go ahead and table that again. Because propose that we go ahead, propose that we go ahead and table this because we don't have the people here to start it actually. So we can,
What are you using it for? Just like
Just-
commitments or?
yeah.
Oh, so we haven't talked to them to get commitments?
I've talked to a few people.
There's a few, but there was and there's, I'm sure a couple people.
They haven't committed?
They have not,
stopped?
they have not given a solid commitment yet. They were wanting to see a little more what was going on before they said yea or nay. We can always have a special meeting for this sometime during the month. This needs to be done.
It needs to be started. I'm tired.
So, I propose that we table item 9.
Maybe we can schedule that with them.
Yeah.
I need a second one.
Chasing this rabbit for a little while, haven't you? Yeah, been a long time process.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion that we table item 9. So, possibly have some.
And if there is time for you guys,
Yeah.
have them get a hold of the rest of them. And if we have to, you know, have a special meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get a special meeting set up for this trust, for this, to get some more people. Okay, call for a vote.
Mr. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Item 10 is discussion, consideration, and action on CIP.
CIP is our community improvement plan. Because we've done everything that was determined to be mandatory in the one that was done in 2009, and because we'd like this water line to be considered mandatory, we have to do a one-page addendum to the CIP, the Community Improvement Plan, that says we need that water main. That gives us another 20 points, I think it is, on the, I just got the paperwork back and I'm trying to keep everything straight in my head. The addition of that gives us more points towards NODA's full 100% grant. And really all it does is say, we need to replace that water main. And it should be mandatory because it's causing problems with health, safety, and environment every time it blows a hole in it. So by adding that amendment to our existing CIP, it gives us more points the way that NODA grants, the way NODA grades those grants. And your chance of getting the grant goes up considerably with your score. So if we tell them we got a CIP, but this isn't part of it, we lose all the points for the CIP part. By adding that one page that says, hey, this needs to be done, we get points out of our CIP to go onto the grant.
Well, we definitely need this. This is, says it is one additional project with priority designated M for mandatory, and it is as follows: upgrade and replace water line from the corner of Broadway and First to 15560 West Bender Road on Bremen Bender Road with a projected cost of $48,000.
Just one thing. So if you are gonna do that, do you have plans to fix it if you don't get the NODA grant? 'Cause
We're
you're
saying,
amending your CIP to say it's mandatory.
yeah, mandatory.
That line's gotta be repaired and replaced anyway.
Right, but you said that NODA said we were already kind of a shoe-in.
Right,
So.
but that's with the points from the CIP. If we don't have the points from the CIP, it drops us below 100. If we're below 100, then it's not necessarily a shoe. If points are 100 or higher, then the chances are very good that they'll give it to us.
Is it, I imagine there's more than just M priority.
There are several priorities. M is mandatory. I'd have to look to get you the other letters, but there's one that says it needs to be done, but it's not gonna fall apart today, which that might. And then there's one that we'd like to do further down the road.
Try
Right.
this year,
Right.
you know.
And I believe there's just 3 of those categories. So that's what we're looking at with.
I'm just
with that.
concerned with, the possibility of the Dodo grant not coming through. And then you
Right.
have that in your CIP, because I know how Dodo works.
Just to give you an
So-
idea though, when they did the CIP,
That's just from a legal standpoint, that's my opinion.
when they did the CIP in 2009, they put in that the town of Bremen was going to put additional supports under existing open-air sewer lines that went to the lagoon in 2009. I did that last winter. And I did it at a hell of a lot less cost than what they had in there. They had somebody coming in to engineer them. I built the pillars that adjusted that we put under there. And so,
My opinion is just based on that stating it's mandatory.
right, well, mandatory is the category that they wanted under
Correct.
to jump up and get at it.
So you're saying that it needs to be under mandatory to get these points that we need?
Right.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
And that paper came through to us from Jennifer.
Yeah.
We
I mean,
just,
if Jennifer could guarantee it 100% funding, great, but I've never seen her do that, so,
no, and I'm not saying she did guarantee it.
right.
I'm saying she's telling me that with our
It'll
points
just
where
put
they
us on
are,
the list, that's all
we have a
she
very
said.
good
Giving us
chance.
a lot better
Yeah.
chance than what we
And
have.
she said as long as it's in the
So if we do
CIP and
that,
a
does that
mandatory
mean
repair,
if it doesn't get paid
then
for-
it
Just
makes
get
it
that fixed.
a necessity, which,
If we don't get it, it's
And
a
I-
$50,000.
I don't know what that account is for, but there is an account that could pay for that if it's not covered.
Don't know what the account's for though.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I can tell you when we go in executive and I can look at it, but
Okay. What do you think, Darlene? This is something that the grant people say that we need?
but if it doesn't go through, it puts you in the corner.
Well, that 10%, I mean, to put us over the 100 points.
right,
I can see that,
yeah.
but I can understand maybe.
Oh, yeah, I understand also.
Yeah.
The grant process is amazing. If it's in the community improvement plan and it doesn't get done though, it doesn't seem like there's any real
Are there teeth
teeth
for
behind it.
that?
Because the sewer pipe supports that were supposed to have been put in 2009.
Well, that's, I mean, just because nobody made a fuss about it, and I don't know what that said, if it was mandatory or not.
It was
It did.
mandatory.
It said it was.
It was under the mandatory section of the CIP. And that's in the office.
And I think they wanted 5,000 for it.
They wanted 5,000 for what I did for about 800, so.
Yeah.
And it was something really that needed to be done. The sewer pipes out there were sagging to the point where they were
Well,
making.
again, I'm just stating my
Right.
legal opinion,
Right.
which is my job, so.
Well, and the community improvement plan
Do
is
what you need
just
to
a
do,
plan. So
Well, we appreciate
it's what you aim
your-
towards. And that's why, yeah, that's why we have.
I mean, one thing you could do is get more information from Jennifer maybe and see if you could categorize it differently
Okay,
and still get some more points.
that's a good thought.
And see what your chances are. I don't know, but that's just.
Okay. Okay, why don't we, I'm
She's
trying to
got a
think,
short amount of time.
trying to think of how we can do this without having to have another meeting immediately.
Well,
That,
and-
as I understand it, that has to be approved by the council.
The council
Right.
give me the authority to look into it.
Well, after Thursday, I'm gone.
After Thursday,
Yeah, or after Wednesday. I'll be here Wednesday, but no, that's no problem.
Okay, well, I mean, the board could vote to give me the authority to look into the matter and just make the decision.
Mhm.
That way we wouldn't have to have another meeting. That would be okay, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you just wanna be kinda clear on what you're doing whenever you, that way, again, clear in your minutes. That you'd be talking to Jennifer,
Yeah.
you know, to clarify,
The classification.
the classification code, and if you can classify it a step or two down, if that would be any benefit for the NODA grant. And if, I mean, you know, the point difference, and if she can give you any kind of inkling on, you'd still have a good chance, even if it wasn't mandatory.
Yeah, that would sure help us, I mean. if we
But then
could
you
do
still
that.
have to then decide, are you given the authority to go ahead and make it mandatory? Is that something that you guys want to decide on doing? Because you'll have to, I mean, that decision has to be made.
Well,
Yeah.
I do have authority. If that's what it is.
So, are you okay with it being categorized as mandatory in the CIP?
Well, I would like to say that I will talk with Jennifer from NODA, and I will, explore all the possibilities. If maybe we can not put a priority or mandatory, maybe a lesser category, but if it does have to be mandatory for us to get the CIP grant, then I will make that decision. So I guess that's agreeable with you.
It's very neat.
Okay, then, let's see, why don't you make the motion?
I make the motion to give him a power of authority for his CIP.
Call for a vote?
Mr. Lynn?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the side. Okay. 11 is discussion, consideration, and action on the electrical trunk. What is the electrical trunk?
That's what we were gonna do in executive session about.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how that long, but that's separate.
You told me to put it on.
Yeah, I
You didn't
probably
tell
did.
me
I
in
probably did.
executive session.
And then we discussed the other deal, so.
Okay, we're gonna skip over that one. 12 is discussion, consideration, and action on campground.
Okay, so the water line is actually rural water districts, and they're actually on the property already, so his setup has changed there. He and I met with Dakota from DEQ this morning about what we discussed with the septic system in operations. And that's actually up in the air now, depending on what he decides to do. What we discussed he can do, but there was another option or two given to him, and now he's gonna need to see whether or not the backside of his place falls into that flood zone
You just dig
that
a
comes
lagoon
down
out
that
there?
creek bed as to what he can and can't do with it. There's a possibility he can put in a lagoon if he can get it away from the flood zone
Yeah.
to be the runoff from those units or from a different system. So that's all changed as of this morning because Dakota come down and looked at it, told him where he could go, what he could do there.
I would really suggest that they look at the elevation at
Well,
that
and-
creek
and
because
He and I went
it
over,
floods.
yeah, he and I went over the flood map and what he's got there. We talked to Dennis Monowell this afternoon, and Dennis told him who to talk to as far as a, oh, God. Yes. The guy that's gonna come out and run the property. Surveyor, there you go, thank you. Nice name. The surveyor that can do that, the surveyor that comes out to do his property lines can also tell him where the flood zone lies
Okay.
on his property, because it does follow that creek. if he can get away from that flood zone with the lagoon, then there's a possibility of running those into the lagoon instead of in the sprayers.
That's how
So,
you do that, that'd be a lot
The-
cheaper.
And it was probably perfect timing that we talked to Dakota today, because last month, DEQ changed the rules for campgrounds and for RV parks.
How so?
The way they used to do it, they were required to have huge holding tanks and be responsible for the water emitting from them and stuff, and now they're not, it's not as stringent. They back the rules off, in other words. He can go down into separate systems for the first 6 that he's gonna start with, and then he can add as he goes, so the whole system doesn't have to be put in at once, and it doesn't all have to comply
I see.
with what he's gonna do in the end, which may or may not happen 10 years down the road.
I see.
So he got an earful, and everything is kind of kicked back and forth around. He's still gonna start with 6 or 8 spots, and that's as soon as he can get them off the ground. But he can start that with one system, and then add additional systems to it as it goes.
When, did he say when they plan to survey it?
No, because he was back on the road again today. He'll be back this weekend, I can find out if he's talked to the guys. Dakota gave him the names, or not Dakota, Dennis Monowell gave him the names of a couple of different surveyors that are aware of that flood zone and know how to put it on the map. So he has to have that before he can start planning out the septic system for the campground. And then that'll tell him how many spots he ultimately can build for, if he decides that's where he wants to go.
So
So,
do we can take that out?
What we need to do, find out.
just bringing you guys up to date with where we're at so far.
All right, what, item 13 is the generator.
The generator.
Did we get that fixed?
No, I did get parts on it though. I do now know what's wrong with it. I could not get the Cummins dealer in Oklahoma City to answer us again. If we didn't give them the 1,500 to come up and look at it, they weren't gonna talk to us. They wouldn't talk to us about parts, they would talk about it. I know a Cummins engineer in Kansas City, and I called him and said, what the hell? And he found a way to get me the parts, since it's out of his area, and if we buy them by mail, nobody can say anything. We're looking at about $700 to repair the transfer switch, which is what's going wrong with it in there now. The contacts in it are burning, so when it's tripping, the contacts aren't making full contact. So we need to spend about $700 on that box. Chris and I talked about it tonight. We can repair it, so there won't be any labor involved. Chris and I will do it on a weekend. The other problem I've got with it is the water temp sensor, but we figured out what that is. There's a check ball in the bottom of the water heater, which is working, but the check ball's sticking. So the water's not circulating even though it's heating up in the heater. It's not heating the engine. Excuse me, that's why the alarm keeps going off. That I'm gonna fix this week. I've got a water valve at Kelly's that I gotta repair tomorrow. Once I get that out of the way, the next thing in line is that heater on the generator. So there is no option on that switch other than buying a whole nother one. And you don't wanna know the cost of a 225 amp transfer switch. So the repair parts for it, like I said, are around 700. And that's kind of the end of that deal.
Well, that's something we've been needing for a while.
Yes, I don't want to drive through the door.
And like you said last time, whenever power goes off, we got people in town with on oxygen machines. They gotta have a place to go.
Yep.
We gotta do that. We gotta spend our money on that. I would say that's a priority. What do you think, Carolyn?
I do too.
Well, I'll make a motion that we go ahead and buy the $700. Did you say it's a relay? What is it?
It's the bar in the switch, the contact bar.
It's a switch.
Yeah, it's part of the transfer switch for the generator. It's part of the part that says, power went out, turn the generator on. It starts the generator, but then the power contacts don't make contact. So we wind up losing half of the fuse box because of that. And it just happens to be the half that those doors are on. So then they can't get the doors to work unless they go slam the switch around, which isn't a good thing to do when you're dealing with that kind of amperage, so.
Okay, so I'll make the motion that we pay 700, wasn't it 700 even? Okay, 700 even on
It's actually like
relay switch,
680 or something.
transfer switch. Call for a vote?
Mr. Lund?
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson?
Cheaper somebody's lives.
Yes, sir. Okay, 13. Discussion action on fire department invoice and insurance.
Okay, so the invoice is no longer an issue. I know it's on there. We've gotten a fax from a lawyer in Texas about the previous wreck, so I have time to decide what needs to happen. And I got another letter on Monday saying, quit talking to them. So that's what I did. So I'm not gonna mess with it. But the
We have a
insurance,
fatality, so.
that motorcycle wreck,
Mm,
like last
They just
year.
wanted some information and then all of a sudden, they want no contact, so.
Yeah.
With us or us with them.
A different lawyer told us just to cease talking with them. I was like, okay. And they said it had been resolved, so I'll show you.
Okay. Whatever their family lawyer wants, I guess.
Oh.
And
But,
that's-
you have the insurance invoice. I didn't know how you guys wanted to do it, if you wanted to do half. Fire department pays, we pay.
Here's my 2 cents on the insurance part of it. If the fire department's paying for it, we're switching insurance. Because as of right now, if, say, 2 of us go in a house fire and our coats get burned up or our helmet, that's on us. We got to pay for that. But if there's another insurance out there, anything on our personnel, even a cell phone, if we lose it, it gets damaged, burnt, it's 100% paid for. So.
well,
Because as of right now, if, say, 5 of us get burnt in a house fire or something, we lose all of our bunker gear, then we gotta come up with the money ourselves to get 5 sets of new bunker gear.
That's no good.
No.
So you know this other insurance
It's
company?
VFISO, right? Volunteer Fire Insurance Services of Oklahoma. Yeah.
Well, let's look into,
And I'm pretty sure that covers your vehicles too, right? Because if we wreck,
let's look into that.
Why don't we
insurance.
wanna table that, and then I can look into it?
because if we wreck that tanker out there, say it's appraised for $200,000, the insurance we got right now, we might get 5 out of it.
Well, when we table it, let's just get.
Yeah, let me look into it.
Yeah, let's table this. Now, I'll make the motion to table this until we can find more information on another insurance provider. That's it. Oh, here, I got 2 folders here.
Then,
Not yet. Need a second for that. Darlene?
You got a second?
oh, second,
Call for a vote?
Mr. Lund?
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson?
yes.
Okay. Okay, item 15, was the executive session, but I'm gonna skip down here to, item A is report on utility department.
Oh, sure. Okay. 5 minor water leaks, 7 good water leaks in the past month. Couple of them requiring either the removal of a water main and capping it or remove and replacing part of a main. We've got most of that in hand at this point, just gotta replace what we need to keep going. The other day, they called me from Kelly's, the 2-inch shut-off valve that was in their 2-inch meter pit. Their plumber went in to shut it off and the valve sheared inside. So tomorrow, Trudy and I'll be down there replacing that water valve. One of the main jobs that we did was to take out the leak at the pool. and remove and cap that system, take that valve out of the ground. The leak we thought was the valve actually turned out to be the cheap crappy connectors they used when they put it in there. So that has been fixed. We replaced that with a new piece of main, and just eliminated the valve to the pool. We're not gonna be able to turn it back on anyway unless something's done, so that wasn't a big problem. That alley remains shut down because it's still soft enough that anybody driving across it, people have been using it. They're gonna have to bottom the holes without being quite not where we want them. So till that hardens up, I won't reopen that alley. We built, my brother donated a bunch of discs from a disc arrow, and I built some more stands from those
Oh, good.
for
For road
our
cars.
barriers. So we've got better barrier systems than we had.
Now, okay, so you got like a steel pole on a disc with a chain on it or something? Or
Nope.
rope?
We've got all the fencing that Blackwell donated to us,
Uh-huh.
the
Oh, around
construction
it.
fencing. So we use these stands in different positions and then put the barriers around them. Drive by the pool, you'll see how we do it.
I just
Or,
want us to be careful with steel, using steel out there.
yeah, the problem is you gotta have something that'll hold that up.
Yeah.
And it's either drive posts into pavement or put up a stand that you don't have to drive
I
in.
mean, I'm not 100% sure on liabilities or anything, but if a car ran into that steel pole and tore itself up, would we be liable for something like that, do you think?
Possibly, you'll have to give me more details of,
It's like a road barrier, something that we put out just as caution around construction area.
oh,
It's a construction barrier.
Well, I
Because
think
we,
you're gonna be liable if they
Yeah.
go, they drive, there's nothing there and they drive through and they get damaged, you definitely are gonna
do
be
you
liable.
have it, do you have it well marked?
oh yeah, it's orange. I mean, every time we use this on a road, we also use cones and barriers.
Okay.
This is off,
It should be fine.
the place
Yeah,
where
as
I've
long
got
as
those
you
right
have
now.
cones and it's well marked and everything.
High visibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got high visibility sawhorses on the roads where we use them, and we use this fence just to encompass the whole area, so that if you drive off through that, you shouldn't have been there, and it's pretty obvious. Fifth Street where it's closed off, we've got sawbucks on both ends, and
Because it wasn't marked, then yeah, you just
Yeah.
telling me.
I was just
Oh, no, I'm
concerned
pretty careful
liability
about-
with being something they
I'm
could
pretty
figure
careful
out.
about marking them so you can see them. We've had people drive over them, which is why we had to build new ones.
And that was the only concern I had on having a steel one, because, you know, we've had
Well-
people drive over them before.
If you drive over it and it damages your car and you were driving through a construction zone, that's really on you, not on the city. So.
I want to think that, but I don't
Yeah.
know that for sure.
Well,
That's actually a citable offense, you guys don't have the court system here, so.
yeah. But because if it happens on a roadway, not one of the alleys obviously, but if it happens on a roadway, the sheriff can't take them for it. So
Okay.
we just have to involve the sheriff.
Exactly, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right, well, that sounds like a good deal to me.
Electrical, we've been pretty good this last month. We haven't had any outages. Everything's been going pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah,
for now.
heard that.
The water department water and streets has been the big thing for last month. So. And if I could get that guy that runs the backhoe to quit digging the streets up, the street department wouldn't have done anything. He don't
Well, you
listen.
need to find that guy.
Yeah, he don't listen. Anyway.
Okay, thank you. Item B is report on fire department.
We're having our chili and stew dinner the 27th, that's a Saturday after Thanksgiving, same day as the parade. We're gonna start serving, I think it's 4, because then we're having a night parade too, so hopefully we get some people from that. And then January 9th is the coyote hunt. So,
Said it was November 27th.
yes.
Get me all that information. Oh, back up to the utility department just a second. I'm having trouble with the sign. All of a sudden, getting stuff programmed onto it. But I haven't had a chance to get it checked out yet. I'll let you know. The patch cable did not work
Chris, did you
Yes,
say
sir.
27th of November?
when I went to
Yes.
Oh,
reprogram.
that's my birthday.
The program's working, but it wouldn't read the sign through the patch cable.
28.
So
Sorry.
I might have to get you here shortly and we'll go up there and see what's going on. Otherwise, I'd already changed it.
Oh, well, that's gonna be your day.
Hadn't seen you, hadn't had a chance to talk to you, so. I got a new cable made up, Rusty made me up a new cable yesterday, or today, and I haven't had a chance to be back there.
Okay.
I'll try it in the morning.
November 28th at 4 o'clock is gonna be a
We're
chili
gonna start,
thing.
yeah, we're gonna start serving at 4.
And then what did you say was the other thing?
January
January
9th.
9th is the coyote hunt.
January 9th.
And as far as, like on the coyote, we're wanting to raffle off a rifle, but we don't actually take possession of the gun. We go to like Bubba's or whoever we wanna buy it from, we pay them the money for the gun, and then whoever actually wins the gun has to go over there, because they gotta do all the background check and,
Oh,
but
perfect.
that's what we would like to do too, with the coyote hunt, is start now, raffle off tickets, and then the day of the hunt, or the night of the check-in of the hunt, and raffle, give the rifle away.
Heck, yeah, that'd be awesome.
So I just
Did
need
you want me to put it
permission.
back in the newspaper?
Yes, but not Ponca Cities, because that costs way too much money.
We don't have flyers,
Yes, they're supposed to be made this weekend.
maybe you'll get me some, we'll take them to Newkirk when I go over there.
We had, we didn't advertise a whole lot last year, and we had a huge turnout for,
Yeah.
Yeah,
First year.
I sure hope that this one is like
it's
even
gonna get
better.
bigger and bigger and
Awesome.
bigger, so.
That's good.
Yeah.
Make sure you put on your advertisement that they have to pass their background check and everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they'll have
If
to
you
do
need
that.
help with that, let me know.
But I just wanted to okay that with the, if I was okay with.
That might not be a bad deal. If you're not opposed to it, maybe you can help.
Yeah, I've
Uh,
already done one of those fundraisers for someone,
Okay.
so if you need help, let me know. I've got
Yeah.
rules and stuff that you can.
That'd be great, 'cause we didn't know how it worked, we know it's a good money deal,
Maybe
so.
if you could help us
Yeah.
with that, please.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do they get so much money for so many coyotes? Or
It's,
how does that work?
It's a point system. Last year, there was a team out of Caldwell, Kansas, they won with 10 coyotes and a bobcat. So your cats are worth 2 points and your coyotes are worth 1.
Because we got a lot of
And
coyotes
there's
over
like,
by us.
And you can't trap them, you can't run dogs, they gotta be called in and shot. And hard zip tied in their mouth, so.
And it's top 3 that actually get cash prize.
Yeah, the top 3, the first place last year was almost $800. That was what we paid out, so.
Awesome.
It was a good turnout, everybody.
Do they turn the coyotes over for coats to someone?
Everybody that hunted it turned all the coyotes over to us, and then we took them to a fur buyer in Wellington, and he gave us top dollar for them, so.
Awesome.
I had a guy ask me a question last year, and I couldn't answer it after it was over. Can they hunt in Kansas and bring them here?
As long as they got a Kansas hunting license and
Oh,
everything,
cool.
so.
Okay, I just got you 2 more hundred.
All right, good deal.
I thought they had to be hunted in Oklahoma.
And another, did we ever get paid from the run out here at the Saddle Club? Because we were told Saturday that James told Keith that we don't have to worry about paying, they don't have to worry about paying that bill. I mean, it's pretty bad that we got rodeo grounds out
There's
here
a lot
and
of
they're
them that
bringing,
haven't paid, I'll be honest with
they're
you.
bringing medical people from Lamont over here to run the rodeo grounds instead of calling right here at Brandon.
We talked about that a while back, and I don't,
But they
I don't
said
remember.
Saturday that they was told that they didn't have to pay that bill.
I'll go talk to him again.
Because they're getting ready to get another one with a late fee on it. I'm not gonna let it slide just because of the way he treated me and 2 other firemen while we were out there. So,
Yeah.
There's a few of them that
Okay, I'll
you
get
sent
some-
me.
more sent out and,
Send back to you.
because, I mean, that's how we get our money. And
Yes, sir, and
we don't like charging for it, but we wish we could do it for free, but we got fuel and, you know, parts that we have to keep these trucks up and running, so.
yeah. Okay.
But that's,
I'll go talk to the Saddle Club, and I'll talk to Keith if I can find him, I'll talk to him.
because they've been piling up tree branches up there and they're gonna want us to burn it, and we're not doing nothing till that bill's taken care of. I don't wanna be that way, but
Alright. Okay, duly noted. I will, get in touch with Saddle Club and talk to them about it.
that's all I really got on that. The, area fire chiefs meeting was 2 weeks ago or last week. They're trying to do an area AFG grant. That way everybody can get radios, and everybody will have the same radio We'll get a repeater here, so they're trying to do that, that way we can, because everybody's going to digital, and we can't afford to go to digital, so
Right.
if
So
you get
this
on a
is
big
a-
fire like that, you'll be able to talk to everybody.
Is this a statewide grant or is this a
Just
federal
a
grant?
K County,
K County, okay.
just
So,
all
yeah,
fire departments in K County, so.
yeah, we need to get that.
And then like the growers, they talked about that, is these people are using, they shut one grower down because they're using unscented natural gas. So if we roll up and the place is on fire and we don't know what
Unscented natural
chemicals,
gas? How do they even get unscented natural gas?
I don't know. The fire marshal was there and he shut it down because of that. But these people are using anything, everything they can, and they're doing it in old refrigerators. That crap's just sitting in there building up, and if we roll on scene, we don't know what's in there.
Yeah.
As soon as you open that,
Well, see,
kaboom.
they shut the unit down. The East Place, whoever was running that,
Oh, it's a go again.
they hired boys there.
They're building bigger and better.
Yeah,
But that's just, it was something good for us because, you know, you think of marijuana, it's just a marijuana plant, but they're not. It's pretty much a meth lab is what they got going on in there. So,
Wow.
and they can't, we can go out there, like if they get this grocery done, we can legally show up there and be like, okay, well, we need a layout of your building and what is what. We can't legally make them take us in there and show us, but
Don't they
they
have
should
to-
provide
don't they
like a
have to-
blueprint of their building.
Don't they have to provide you with a materials list?
They should, and it should be posted, so.
MSDS.
Yes, MS.
Yes.
Yeah, material dash sheet,
MSDS.
MDS, material dash sheet.
It was pretty crazy in my opinion, really, for us, I mean.
Well, yeah, we definitely, it's still up in the air right now for the one in town. There's a lot of hoops they gotta jump through, and there's a lot of things they have to do before we'll go in and inspect it. But we won't allow anything that's gonna be dangerous in town. You know, we
I
won't.
noticed they worked a couple of times. Very expensive.
It was just some valuable information, and he gave us a list of all the ones right here in Cape County here in our area.
We got quite a few right here, do we?
There's 3 of them up here that legally we know of,
Wow.
so.
Was not aware.
I wasn't either. That's all I got.
Thank you. C is report on emergency management.
They just did a pilot project with doing a full class online because of the COVID stuff, and it went very well, so they're going to offer up some more full classes online. So Dawn will probably be the assistant, and I'll do the full class. That way, we don't have to go anywhere, we can do it at home.
Make it so much easier for your schedule. Yeah.
Yes, and there's no travel to it, so there's really no cost.
That's great.
And they're trying to get them all done before March.
All right, so,
And Eric's been blowing the whistle every Thursday, and
it's going good. We haven't had any big storms.
thank goodness, yes.
Okey dokey. Well, thank you. 17 is going to be a public comment. If anybody wants to make a public comment, you're limited to no more than 5 minutes. All right. 18 is new business. Is there any new business that needs to be discussed?
Yes. Don Motors line, water line to the tin round top.
The school building, the old ag building?
Yeah, the price on that came back in at $1,500 installed, and that was with Jason doing everything but tapping the main. He was gonna go in and, lay in the pipe, drill underneath the 2 driveways, and get it to the meter, and then from the meter to the house would be Motors bill. He was gonna take care of that, but the $1,500 would cover.
You had to set a meter too, right?
Yes. The $1,500 would cover everything except for the meter and the setter and meter house. Would cover him getting the line, putting the line in, bringing everything out there, and the tap on the main. I'd have to supply. So $60 meter, $130 meter, $135 meter setter, and that $65 meter house that we put in the ground. The city would cover, but the question is, do we want Motor to pay for the materials to the meter house? Or does the city want to pay to put to the meter house and then Motor takes care of it past that?
You can't take any action on new business.
Yeah. I think here, of course, we don't want to pay for it, that's a given, but,
I'd say this is probably something that should be under, his report, not under new business.
yeah.
Oops.
New business should be things that are more of like an urgent matter or emergency that was not known within the last 24 hours.
Is it 24 hours or 48 hours?
No, 24, because you don't have to post notice, except for 24 hours before your meeting. So it's anything that happens before or after you've posted your agenda. So within the last 24 hours. And you can't take action. So
All right, well,
it's basically just anything that's urgent or emergency that you're just letting the council know about.
well, now, I mean, I'm not gonna take any action, we're not taking any action on this, I'm just discussing it now. We are legally obligated to provide utilities to people, residents in the town. So I think that would fall into
We're just,
that situation there, wouldn't it? Where
we only responsible for the line,
provided to.
and then when it goes to his spot, that's his.
Right, but we just had to put in $1,500 worth of line to get it to his building.
The problem, Darlene, is that the old water line comes through the school, and it's metered through the school, because that building belonged to Newkirk. So we have to put in a line in a meter box back to that building. From the meter box to the building, he's gotta worry about. But we have to get that in there so that they can cut off the old line from the school and cap it, and then get him water in his building.
I'll say put it on the next agenda.
Well, you
Yeah.
can't take action.
Oh, I know, I'm
There's
just
no-
saying,
There's
yeah.
nothing you can do tonight.
We'll table that until next one.
It has to be on the agenda.
But now, we're going to go ahead and go into executive session. So, we go back to item 15 and go into executive session that convene at 8:16.
We have a motion in a second.
I'll make a motion. Call for a vote?
Mr. Lynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Jack?
Oh, really?
When I came home, or what, yeah, she's kind of on the street.
I tell you what, Fox have been handling things up.
Oh, yeah, well, it's just across the street.
Yeah,
Really?
right there, across the railroad track.
If we could ever get this cleaned up.
Take care. You too, Katie.
I just sent them done, sent them back.
Did you really?
I did. Mother was just,
close.
Mother was just crying. I don't like this. I want my phone back.
Oh.
It was just too much hassle.
Oh. Well, that forward.
Hey, Chloe, how are ya?
Good.
Good.
Are you good? Hey, I heard you was throwed up at the babysitter.
Yeah, we're home.
Sure.
Yeah. What's on your shirt?
Let's just over here.
Say that one more time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ducky. Oh. You're so big. How are you? Good? Me too. Did I baby? Who's your sister?
At home with grandma. We were annoying grandma with all her kinds of stuff, so daddy brought her here to annoy mom for a minute.
What was your
It was
noise?
good timing, Mom went in the room.
Do it?
I said it was good timing, Mom went in the room.
Yeah, I noticed.
Bye. See you later.
Bye.
Be good.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's the new
Better
shoes.
go get her.
Look how pretty your shoes are. Oh, God. Oh, give me hugs. Oh, sweet. Sweet girl.
Sorry.
What like I want to choose?
Shoes. Oh, they're so pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, where'd you get those?
Going crazy.
Did you see them the other day?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Kids are driving and I don't want to drive.
What's Sissy doing?
Yeah.
This is Grandma.
She's a grandma.
Well, Haley could get her license, but she can't until, so wait, this is October. She has to wait till next month.
I woke up this morning at 5 a.m. because there was a weird noise coming from the
She
highway.
has to be seizure-free for 6
was-
months before she
I
can.
don't know, it was a weird
get her
noise.
license. Before she can drive.
listen.
You have to
I
drive
don't know,
with
it
your
was just going
license.
like.
And then Jacob, he wants to drive, but he's
I was
in no
like-
hurry to go to work.
I was looking in the air for a UFO. I looked at it. I was like, is it something in the
Or
sky?
was it maybe the wind on the line?
Grab my-
I don't know. I've never heard anything like this
Was there a
before.
transformer nearby?
But
I don't know about transformer, but I mean, I've heard a transformer
Working
explode.
hard.
This was just, it was weird. It was kind of like a hum, and then but
it
it kind of would go.
Well, you come here, you can't go in there.
That's
You
what
see him.
watch me.
Really?
Transformer.
Huh. It's wild. I've never heard it. It woke me out of bed though. It was loud enough I could, but it seemed like it was far away, but loud enough it was.
Next door to you, right next to you.
It's weird.
Our transformer was making a noise.
Even
And I
kind
said
of
to
has
Eric, I said, I even saw Chris and I said, our
I came
transformer's
in
gonna
late,
blow
so
up.
I only
No,
came
it's
in
not.
where
No,
they
it's
were
not.
talking about the CIP.
Well, I've been near one that exploded,
Other
and
than
well, I
that,
was
really?
asleep when it happened. I thought an atomic bomb went off,
Ah,
legit.
yes.
I thought an atom bomb had gone off. I was hitting the deck. It rattled me. Of course, I was about where it blew from,
But
like 150 feet away.
Mm.
Because I was sleeping in
So
the
I
living
don't know.
room,
I don't
and that
know what some of this
transformer was
stuff
just
was.
across the road on the pole. So it was like the living room. I was in the living room, and then
Well,
right
it
there.
literally exploded. I mean, all the chemicals inside it would literally explode.
Yeah, it was just like.
I had lightning hit right beside my bedroom.
what did we miss?
That's not
What was
funny,
the coal patch?
Well, where we fixed the
Oh,
road at Mom's house, you know, that we had to open up the whole road.
yeah.
That cold patch stuff sounds like it's a pretty good value for what it gets done, though. Is what y'all are saying,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Cool.
$700 for a pallet will fix that road and probably a little bit extra, whereas it'd been a lot more, I imagine, if it was
Oh,
something
yeah.
different, right?
Well, if you bring in a
what
dump
was the
truck
water
full of
grant
it,
thing?
you gotta use it right away or it's just gonna harden where you dump it. Because
Yeah.
it's all gooey.
And then you're
The
paying
minute
for
the
the
air
I
hit
don't know for
it,
sure if
it
they're
gets
gonna,
hard.
they gotta make sure that it's gonna be totally paid for, you know, not just, it comes back and they only give us.
What's it for?
Hey.
though?
Give that the line.
That's what you started.
The line out.
Brenda Road.
Yeah, the one. Well, there actually, line is in the ditch, not very deep, you know,
Which side?
that side.
On our side? My side? Of Bender Road?
Yeah.
But if that.
I don't know.
Side.
I don't know, it only go to there, to,
It only goes to South Club.
Well, it'll come up to that one road.
I don't
South
think-
Club
What
does
is
not.
that road? Clyde?
No, they
Clyde.
have rural water, that's
Yes.
right.
It'll come up
Clyde
to
has
Clyde,
water.
right? Is that the first road? Clyde?
Clyde, yeah, but I think our water line actually goes out further. It's where
where your, where we used to keep the horses and stuff on, it goes all the way up to right up there, doesn't it?
I don't know, but we have rural water out there.
Yeah,
That's
'cause-
rural water.
See, what they'll do is come down Bender, go onto the road, and I do think you said Clyde, go to
Yeah.
Clyde.
Cause I know Jerry said that he has a connection out at his place.
Mhm.
And so, and he's right there, kinda I guess at that intersection, a little north of it, but I thought it went on to where it's
But the
not
other
freezes
two-
anymore, but it used to be
Yeah.
freezes.
The other two, Grandma Freeze's is how far it go, but their meters, Sherry's and his,
Well, he just got out of executive session.
they're on this side
She got let.
of that tree, and Schwartz's place, right by that. Wow. You got me one? Oh, thank you so much. Ooh.
she was distraught. She's like, Mama, Dad.
Got me a piece of chocolate?
Apparently not.
I'm getting away from you people.
Rudy does try to get it for everyone.
So they're gonna try to get a grant to run the line out there
And cover the meters.
to the oil wells, or I meant the water wells, oil wells.
Well, there's already that water line there,
Oh, okay.
rural water.
If they get that thing fixed, how, in overall, how's the
Well, he's
water
staying
system in Bremen? Is there still a lot of old piping or something?
The whole town.
No.
The whole
town.
dang town.
Wow.
It's gonna get worse as winter gets here.
I'm sure that it's at least 100 years old.
At least.
It costs probably a lot of money to get it all
Well,
up to date,
if
huh?
they keep capping it off, the water leakage
Yeah.
continue to be better.
Well,
Therefore,
think,
the water
uh,
pressure will
The-
go up.
Now, the water thing, but, it'd be nice if we could get our electric to where it wouldn't, power down all the time, cause that's hard on, I think that's how my fridge got broke, cause my fridge broke at my house and.
Now, being an IT guy, you don't have it on a surge protector thing?
What?
Come on.
Probably that's the computer.
What was the Bremen Trust thing?
The 5 people that they want on the Bremen Trust.
What is that anyway? What's it for? What do they do?
Did they pick them already?
Well, they're, like Donna and some others were gonna be on it, but no one showed up tonight to, I guess, you're supposed to get electric to it,
I don't know, but
To
that's
vote
what
on
I
the
came in
electric.
for, but I got here too late.
You're supposed to go over things
Yeah.
for the town, I guess.
It's to, basically a voting, no, you guys are right here. Nope. You got to, basically vote to see if we wanna go with K Electric or not. That's more or less what it is.
no.
Yes or no? He's
Well,
saying.
you work with Carolina.
I don't know what.
Yeah.
Chris is probably thinking job security.
Well, it don't matter who wants what in this town. It'll come down to 2 people, and if they don't want it, then we're not gonna go with it. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Is that a K Electric shirt?
Well, yeah, or.
Oh, okay. That's why you're
But
sitting
he's-
here.
he's-
Well, no, I'm just sick and tired of the brownouts, and every time the wind blows,
Yeah, that's what I'm,
we lose power. And we got one line that feeds Blackwell.
Or cat farts. Yep.
So-
yeah, that's
And we can't afford to upgrade our system. We already had it once, and they screwed around in here, and we lost it all.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That was before Trudy and them got here.
Yeah, that was before this administration.
Yeah, you know where.
but it's not gonna be
Mommy.
quick like
I
that.
know, you gotta wait.
I mean, like,
here.
they're gonna, oh, K Electric's got it. They flip the switch and everybody's fine. That's not even gonna work that way.
Well, no, but
They're
they're
gonna
gonna have a
have-
better response time than, we got, okay, here's the way I look at it. We got one line that feeds from Blackwell to here. So if anything happens, that's the only way we're getting power. Compared if we go to K Electric and something happens, they got a substation east of town, they got a substation west of town, feeding both ways, all the way around us. We got water all the way around us, we got electric all the way around us.
Huh, that does sound good.
And if something goes, and if it's during a flood, when something goes wrong, you're gonna play hell getting to that one line because it runs across the river.
Oh.
and through fields
Yeah.
that flood.
Hey, how'd you do down New Orleans? Was it with New Orleans?
Yeah. that's
I
what
was
they
in
tried to
River.
fix.
It was a hot.
Well, do you not realize that that is the only
Were you
income
down
that
there
this
for 2
county's getting?
Yeah.
Is from the electric. And they ain't gonna give us jack shit.
That's,
They are not giving us jack shit. The first time they did, they said, it was gonna be kind of worth it, but now it's.
Well, that's because
clean.
they don't farted around up here.
Hey, we couldn't fix what dipshit.
Well, I know,
did.
I'm just saying, they could have around and screwed everybody, but I guarantee if you put it to the vote of the people, the most people are gonna want the electric.
Because they don't know. And you can say goodbye to the town. It'll be a ghost town, buddy. But you realize that?
I do realize that, but we can't just keep living on a hope up here.
Well, that's what we are. We're the hope of this town. We're trying to fix that. We can't do it overnight.
I mean, my electric bill went from $175 to $300. I live by myself. By myself. Come on, something ain't right here.
yeah.
I don't run my air conditioner. It hadn't been on in a month.
Yeah,
I've been gone for 2 weeks out of 4, so I don't know. Something's gotta give. I mean, I'm to the point now, I want out of Brandon. We don't get no backing on the fire department. And I'm still waiting for cleaning supplies and disinfecting supplies from over a month ago. Our generator still ain't fixed. That's been on the agenda for 5 months.
it does sound like they got that they approved that piece though, fix that they asked.
Well, yeah, they should have done, when I first brought it up, it should have been done within the first month because,
How long has it been like that?
oh, it's been like that since my dad was a chief here.
Whoa. Yeah, and if it's a danger, like.
Because, I mean, there's a lot of elderly people in here that rely on that oxygen. And when that
Well,
power
if
goes
you being
out,
the chief, maybe you should have kind of checked into that yourself.
well, I can solve every bit of it. I'll put a new one out there. And I'll put a lock on this door where nobody's allowed in there but us.
You pay for it?
I'll pay for it out of our account. Hell, we pay for everything out there ourselves anyway.
What?
And we'll shut this off to it. We'll just hook the fire department up to it instead of not any of this. But that's not what it was for. That generator was put out there for people when we had an ice storm or something.
But the
Yeah, it was during the
town
ice storm.
But the town owns the building.
Okay, well, I can get NODA where this building was put here through a NODA grant through the fire department. If we want to get technical about it, we can get paperwork out and we can get technical with it. So,
So actually, the building's more like the fire department's. Yeah.
the city had to pay to put this in,
Uh,
out of their pocket. This building and that out there was built on a NODA grant.
We also had the masonry, we had a
So-
matching grant with the masonries. That's why they have their stone out here.
So, I mean, if they want to get technical with it, we can get technical. But that's beside the point. That generator was put here because of the ice storms. People are on oxygen. They had a place to come up here. They had heat, air. If they needed it, they could plug in, be on oxygen right here.
Yeah, because during the bad ice storm, we served meals in here to people. We had cots set up for people.
I remember when.
That was in '02. Oh, yeah, '01.
Oh, Juan.
'01.
Now we had the doors. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we do need better electric. 'Cause like
Oh, yeah, I agree.
it can keep. It hasn't been bad recently. Recently, it hasn't been too bad. But I remember when I was the first couple of years.
I mean, that's hard on your appliances. Just
Yeah.
on and off, where it's real dim. And you can't control it whether it's K-Electric or Black. We can't. There's no way they can control it. We can control it. Well, it's not good when the wind blows and it's 80 degrees outside.
The last time it went out was because some kind of a fire on the line or something. I remember last time.
Oh, yeah, that was because of K-Electric. Yes. Yeah, I didn't hear you.
I don't work my side, so I don't worry about it.
I wonder, is it possible to get another line ran or something on the system we got now? I mean, I know that's probably a lot
I don't
to
think
put the
so.
poles in.
Hey,
And
come here.
They tried to
Piggyback
reroute our line, but you can't get these people to sign off
Yes.
on easements or right of ways or anything like that.
Oh, we had a horrible problem with Wooderson's and Curl. My dad almost got into a fist fight with Jim Curl right there.
Oh. Hey, that casino, phase 3 going in, you know, that's nice.
What's phase 3?
Huh?
What's phase 3?
Oh, well, that casino, jargon, but when the next big expansion for the casino goes in.
Right now, I see they're building for medical, pad for medical building.
No, HR.
HR is going in
Human
there.
resources.
Human
over there.
resource.
Oh, that's it?
The government's paying for it, and when they're done with it, then the.
You mean we're paying for it?
Yeah, the Indians can take it over after that.
Okay.
It's theirs once they're done with it.
Well, I'm just real upset with they didn't go ahead and pave Peckham Road. I wish they would have.
I heard they were going to do that. Did they back out?
Well, the last county commissioner meeting I was at, they were still pretty iffy whether they were gonna do that or not.
Well, they widened it and everything.
Yeah, they did widen it, and they straightened out that bridge that's been horrible for years, and they replaced the second bridge down.
Yep, so yeah.
And so, I mean, they've done a lot of improvements to it.
That's it's a good swath of land they have to
Yeah.
pave. That's a lot of money.
Shit, we got it, they got it.
Oh.
Well, cause see, the Conation was supposed to, or had offered at one time to cover 3/4 of the cost. I don't, they've changed they've changed presidents, chiefs, whatever they call them nowadays.
Here's what I've noticed about the Call Nation. They talk about it, a lot of things.
Yeah,
And you go down the top wall, when they talk about it,
they do
they
it.
do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're putting a movie theater, a sports bar and grill, and a bowling alley.
Oh yeah, that's going in. Yeah, I want to see that. That bowling alley's supposed to have some like AR effect with water and zombies and all sorts of cool stuff. Yeah, it's supposed to have like a thing that projects onto the lane and you roll your ball and it like, I don't know. I've heard about it and it's supposed to be really cool, but
It's big, because they've already poured the concrete and got a
Yeah.
structure going on.
Yeah. The biggest issue with the cause is that none of them can agree long enough to get something done. They
Exactly.
did get something agreed on, and then all of a sudden they find out that that chief was embezzling money, and now they need a new chief, and now they can't agree again.
They would be wonderful
And then-
if they just kept their fingers out of their own pocket.
Well, we could have, whenever I started at
It's like
Bremen, they
Ponca.
could have had
Yep,
phase 3
yep,
done a long time
exactly.
ago if they'd have just kept their damn mouth shut
Mhm.
and quit worrying about stuff and just let Gene Simmons build the damn thing like how he wanted to do it, and they'd already be making millions.
Yeah.
But-
And they blame that on, I can't remember her name.
Jackie.
Jackie.
Yeah, she left.
Well.
Oh, I
she got
still have to
asked
put
for
up
it.
with her all the time.
Oh, sorry.
So. But, yeah,
Jackie Hensley.
yeah,
Mm.
so. That, they had to.
They'd
find
have
out-
a, like I told Ken, he'd have a gold mine out there. They did it right.
Yeah.
They would be a gold mine. They wouldn't have to worry about nothing.
Well, they keep on having to dump money into the buildings they got open right now. The company that built the 2 buildings, I don't even know if they was even certified to build a building. With all the crap that we had to go through whenever I was there.
The new ones?
Yeah.
Here?
Yes. God, they're awful.
Oh, but wasn't the same company that built the gym over at Newkirk?
Probably was.
They went out of business right after the roof started leaking.
Well,
Well, look at the gym that they did at Blackwood. It's just bad. It's cheap. Everything about it was cheap.
I know. Just calm down. I know. Calm down. I know, you want everything.
You don't want mommy. Did you want daddy?
Yeah.
'Cause he's my boy.
Yeah. Did a pretty good job of that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Be cool to see some, you know, improvements and stuff.
Daddy,
'Cause I like this little town.
Daddy,
You know, I like our town.
Daddy.
Well, Mr. Motor is,
I want here.
I think he's gonna do a lot. Maybe he'll get his,
Was he the one that wants to
Dollar
build
store. Mhm.
The what?
Dollar store.
Oh, it was a dollar store?
Where?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
where?
know, that's what he said. I can
Because
only
if he
tell you
puts
what
it on
said.
that side, it ain't gonna do no good because he couldn't get the damn people to vote to annex the property out there. So unless he puts it in town, it ain't gonna do us any
in
good.
town, yes.
Well, he was gonna put it in town, but I don't know where.
Little,
The town has property
Yeah.
across the street.
That's what I said, across the street though.
That's
It'd
what
be
I said,
right
the
on
fire
Main
station's
Street.
Going in good too, across the street.
A what?
New fire station will
Okay,
go perfect.
okay. One right next to the other, then you guys don't have to go anywhere for a pop.
That'd be great.
I mean, we had
Walk
everything
around
ready
fire trucks
for
eating dollar
annexation
items.
and
What was the big downside to that? It sounded like a good deal all around. I
What's
don't know.
that?
there wasn't really any downside.
To what?
Getting that more,
Annexation.
that property, extending the.
Well,
The only thing was is that we would be legally liable to provide utilities if somebody had put something on the actual land that was,
I want baby
annexed.
Yeah.
But if you only annex like we did out that way, 3 feet, then that just covers your utilities, so. I mean, you could put utilities up, but because of the crappy utilities, it would just be null and void, because we have 150-year-old lines.
I don't know, maybe sure it's gonna work.
So I guess there was some downfall there too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just hope Don makes good on what he says.
Seems like we could.
You go put the camera?
I'm not real thrilled about having a campsite behind me, but
There you go.
that's okay. I'll be glad when he gets it surveyed, because he's gonna be pretty shocked,
Yeah.
Survey for what?
that land out there.
I mean, but like the size or what?
Yeah, because my land actually goes 6 foot over. I've got my fence 6 foot from where their land is.
What is he, the car?
Yeah, one's a cousin used to own it, and then they sold it to non-motor. At least we don't have to worry about anybody go out there hunting and shooting at you.
I
you
know. Yeah, no kidding, your dad about got shot in the
Me
head.
and Dad.
Yeah.
We were both out there when that happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just bent over to grab
Really?
something and the bullet went phew, right into the barn.
Oh my
Yeah, I was out there
gosh.
with Dad. He had what looked like a wind streak above his head.
Woo,
Yeah, it was,
That close.
good thing he bent over.
Yeah, we were out feeding horses and pigs, and Dad bent over to grab something, and I heard it ricochet off the barn, so I ate dirt whenever I heard it hit.
I remember that, I was on my way from Medford when that happened. No, I was coming from,
Well, they didn't know you shot it?
Huh?
They didn't know you shot it?
Pretty good idea. The only person that hunts back in there.
Mm.
I hear those coyotes howling over near the highway.
No, come to our house.
Are you east of
Sit
town?
down.
Yeah, we're east of town.
That must be all around then.
Oh yeah, there are coyotes everywhere.
Oh,
They were
everywhere.
huge. They were bothering the cattle last night.
Yeah.
It's kind
Up
of
our
weird.
ass.
The
They're a pain in the butt.
armadillos look cool. I see a lot of armadillos.
Run over them with you.
I was
know,
really glad when
they're-
they did that coyote hunt, because that, that thin them out, helps in 2 ways.
Well, out by us, we had them breed with those, that guy that was doing the,
You want Trudy? You want Trudy hold on to you?
whatever them dogs are
Hey,
called.
see Trudy.
Oh, the,
Pyrenees.
yeah, Great Pyrenees.
They were breeding with the Pyrenees. He was just letting the Pyrenees run. And we had one coming down the road one night when I went out. It was dusk. And his back was up to my hip. That's how tall he was. And I'm just yelling at him. I mean, all he had to do is with the others just come attack me.
I'd like to,
They're huge.
I'd like to know how many bobcats we have in the area.
Quite a few.
You think?
Mhm.
There's a bunch.
Yeah.
I've never seen one yet. I've seen foxes, but
I saw the track, and that was the first mile out of town.
Yeah, we got quite a few.
They're very sneaky creatures.
Yes, they
Very
are.
smart.
you stay out of sight.
Yeah. Unless they're just really hungry,
Mhm.
they're hard to catch.
You hear a screaming woman, you know one's near. Because that's what they sound like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So much night hunters are early in the morning.
Yeah, I walked in my house when I was in New York City, and I had a pet door, and I walked in, and as soon as I opened my front door, I heard a ruckus in my living room. I was like, what the hell? So I stepped back, and my neighbor was going to work, and he says, what's wrong? I says, I think there's a person in my house. You know, I looked in there, and I was working on my bay windows drop ceilings, like these, and they were missing. I looked up there, and there was a head like this big, a cat with a head this big, just looking. I was like, oh dang. So I left the front door open, I went up to my upstairs, and I shut the door, and I figured, yeah, he'll leave when he's ready.
Order takeout for him, leave it on the front porch.
I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go upstairs, shut my door.
Dang.
It was gone.
What
But-
is that line all the way?
That's been there for a long time.
Looks like something got dragged.
Is it stained? Along with the other stains?
Looks like that.
Check
So
out
if you
that
haven't seen the
line.
bobcats, you haven't seen the cougars either, have you?
Check out
No,
that line.
I did. I saw a cougar
What is it?
daytime too. Well, I don't know. I guess they go
Where's it going?
daytime, but dirt road outside our city between Newkirk and York City. I used to go down that dirt road on a bike, and I saw that cat, and it was like
Yeah,
tail like this long, that thick. But what was weird is it was tan. It was colored like his shirt, that color. But as it got to the haunch, it got dark and had spots. It had white spots, like light colored spots, and its head was smaller than you'd expect for the body. It was weird, but I was like, that ain't no. The thing was clearly, I mean, it was bigger than a dog.
There's one out there by Kansas.
There's two that go from Call Lake to the Blackwell Lake every year. They go back and forth. One in the wintertime they go back to Call Lake, in the summertime they come out here.
Huh.
One's tan, one's black. The tan one got a hold of my horse. If you, in the summertime when she goes black and white, you can see where it bit her here and the claw marks that come down the side of her haunches.
Yeah.
that's what I worry about with our horses.
And Sherry and I both have seen the black one a couple of times.
I didn't know cougar could be black.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We had
Well,
one
they
on
call it
Greenwich
melanistic,
Road.
yeah, but, huh.
We had
That
one on
looks kinda
Greenwich
pretty cool,
Road.
actually. I wanna look that up online, see what they look like.
Oh,
Remember
the
that
ga- some people will tell you
chase
game
that
wardens
one?
and they'll tell you they're not
See
here.
Tyler right after.
Yeah, they
That's
are.
what I heard too, yeah, when I.
Yeah, they'll tell you there's none of them here.
Oh, you're strong.
We had one by Bender Road in Q Street, down there by those silos, and then there's another one up by Greenwich. I don't know if it's the same one, but there's
Last
those there.
fall, I'd be leaving in the morning, take the kids to school, and right just past Sumter, a mile past Sumter, along that stretch of railroad tracks, you'd see him or her, one of them, go across there every morning.
Trudy.
Yeah. Yeah, they got a pattern, that's for
Sneak
sure.
up on her.
I like the foxes we have in town.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Yeah,
They take care of all the cats.
I think that's a myth. I don't.
No, they do, trust me.
What?
Eat cats.
Yeah, they do. There's a silver fox up in Oxford.
Yeah.
They used to have cats like crazy over by my house. I'd shoot them. But now, the foxes come over there and eat them.
In Cheney, Kansas, there's a
Come here.
A wild flock of
Help me find the
peafowl.
bugs.
A what?
Peafowl, like
Oh, yeah?
peahens,
Yeah,
and
help me
peacocks.
find bugs.
Yeah,
Help me find bugs on
I can't remember how they got over there. I guess maybe someone either had some that they were raising and they got loose, but pretty interesting.
bugs and frogs.
You know, peafowl are from India.
Put them in my pumpkin.
That's where they're native
Pick
to.
me up, pumpkins, put them in my pumpkin.
You know, Greenway Farms out here, they used to have lots of peacocks.
What?
Put them in the pumpkin.
Cody, were you with me that day that there was a guy, he had in the back of his truck, in the camper, he had 2 goats and what was
Yeah.
that?
It
What
was
was
like
the
some,
other
it
thing?
was some.
Some weird animal. It was
Yeah,
two.
it was like a peacock or
Emu?
something. Emu. It was an emu. Yeah.
A lot of people own emus around
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, it's just kind of, just not something you just,
They're spitters, aren't they?
yeah.
Isn't that them?
No, you're thinking of llamas.
Oh,
Yeah.
Emus are the ones with the death claws.
Yeah.
You can,
Well, they got that big claw on the toe, yeah,
Yeah.
like a raptor.
yeah.
Jurassic Park.
Clever girl. It's like walking along and you're like, clever girl.
I'll have to laugh every time I think of one of them, because when I worked for Wyckoff, and I went with Chip to do a worm or whatever they were doing to those, and some horses,
Uh-oh.
and it was over at, anyway, this lady that helped,
Nope,
she
it's
worked
not.
there,
Can't go
well,
out.
she gave me her sweater, she had her good clothes on, and she gave me her jacket to hold on to, while she got in there with Chip to do whatever they do to those. So I got him up to the front of the thingy, and of course, I wasn't standing right by it, I was kind of over here, and that thing went, you know, I just reflexed, I looked at, and I just,
Hi, Dad.
You almost got.
it's all over her coat!
Oh.
That's what she gave it to me, so I could, you know,
Okay.
keep it out of the,
For a minute, so maybe we'll go to bed.
and then
That'd be an idea.
it puked all over. Whoop!
We went down to that animal park there.
GW?
Yeah, GW, and
Back before it was nationwide news.
yeah, and the guy says to us, now